Hi, I'm Miss Litmer or Miss Abra, and I'm the literacy coordinator here at ASA. Today, I'm presenting to you about DIBELS and Lectura assessments. If you weren't able to join our parent meeting, then you can watch this video as an introduction into the assessments that we use for reading foundational skills here at ASA. You might also just be a new parent here, so welcome to our community. We're so happy to have you here. Let's get started. All right, so today I'm going to talk through just a couple of the things that go along with this assessment. And first, I'm going to just start off with what reading assessments we used to use here at ASA, why we changed, and what the research tells us to help support those changes. Then I'm going to go into DIBELS and Lectura, the names of the assessments that we use here, what they are, what does it assess, and why we're using it. And then we'll talk a little bit about the Home Connect reports. We've just started sending these reports out. This is the 25-26 school year. We adopted this assessment at the beginning of this year formally using this platform that creates the Home Connect reports. We used this assessment last year as well, but giving out data wasn't very easy because we were using our own Excel sheets to collect that data. Now we have these Home Connect reports, and this is the first time you've received them, but you will start receiving these 3 times a year. So you will receive an end of year report, and then you'll also receive at the beginning of the year, a new beginning of year report, middle of year, and end of year report every single year your child is in elementary school. So we'll talk about how to read those and what to do next at home, and then how to support reading at home in general. All right, so we used to use an assessment called Fountas and Pinnell, or F&P for short. This consisted of reading leveled books, and then the teacher would observe reading behaviors, make notes, all sorts of things. The test itself and this method of teaching encouraged students to guess words and to use pictures rather than decoding, which meant that they were looking at a photo, let's say, of a blue ball, reading a page that said, "The ball is blue." And they didn't have the skills to decode the word blue, but they knew it was blue because of the picture. This also leveled books for students. So teachers would have libraries filled with leveled books, or if you ever used RASKids, you would know this, that your child's F&P score directly correlated to what they were allowed to read. And an assessment shouldn't level a student. It should give us really good information about what to do next. And these leveled assessments and leveled books led to students leading leveled lives, right? And we wanted to step away from that. So our target in choosing a new reading assessment was really that it was a universal screener, that it was about strong reading habits like decoding, fluency, and language comprehension. And it gave us really clear next steps for how to help our students. We wanted to make sure that we weren't leveling them or using this as a way to tell them who they were as readers. So the research tells us that teaching reading needs to be explicit. There needs to be a clear understanding of letter-sound relationships, decoding, fluency, and language comprehension. But it also tells us that early identification of gaps in reading foundational skills is critical. So we wanted to make sure that our assessment did all of these things. So we use DIBELS, Dynamic Indicators of Basic Early Literacy Skills. This is a very short assessment. There are 6 different indicators or subtests that we use. They're only 1 minute. So these are timed assessments, and they're really checking to see if we have the fluency and automaticity that we need to become strong readers. One of the assessments is 3 minutes timed, and it is checking for comprehension skills. Each test looks at a focused early literacy skill, such as decoding. And so when a teacher gets those test scores back, they're able to immediately think about ways for what they should do for decoding, but our platform, Amplify MClass, gives us also suggestions for what to do next. Now, this test, DIBELS, is given to students in English. We also give the students another test. It's called Lectura, and it tests all of the same reading foundational skills, except in Spanish. This test was developed for first language Spanish speakers, and so unless your student is in the mainstream Spanish class, that's when they would receive this. So if they're in SSL, many of our SSL students do not get this test yet. But once they do join the mainstream Spanish classes, they will receive the Lectura assessment. So what do DIBELS and Lectura assess? There are 6 different assessments that we have. They're not assessed in every single grade level. They are dependent of what a student at that age level needs to be a successful reader. We have letter naming fluency, phonemic awareness, nonsense word fluency, word reading fluency, oral reading fluency, and the maze, which is a 3-minute timed comprehension assessment. You'll notice that in grades 4 and 5, they only take 2 assessments, whereas in grade 1, they will take almost all of them, which is 5. We want to remind all parents, though, that these tests, they're there to measure foundational reading skills, right? They're not testing a student's creativity, their intelligence, or their love of reading. We need to make sure that we separate those aspects of who a child is, because this is there to help them. It is not there to judge them. So now that you know a little bit more about the DIBELS assessment, let me take you into the Home Connect reports that you just received. When you get the Home Connect report, on one side of the paper, you will see this, which is on the right side of on the left side of your screen, I guess, right side. And on the back, you'll see this, which is a description of things that you can do. I'm going to flip back to the previous slide. You're going to see at the top of this page the Lectura composite score, or the DIBELS composite score, depending on what assessment you're looking at. The composite score is not out of 100. It's a lot like our MAP tests. It has a band, and the benchmark scores move for each assessment that we take. So a 490 right now is great, but a 480 for the next test might be just as good. What I want you as a parent to pay closer attention to really is that band color that they're in. You'll notice on this example, the student has a blue circle around their composite score. This lets us know that they're doing very well and they're testing above benchmark expectations for this time of year. That's a composite score, so it's taking all of their subtests into account. Below the composite score, you'll see each different subtest and how they did on it. For example, this student has a 50 in decoding. That's also in the blue, whereas they have 100 for accurate reading and fluency. That's in green. You'll also notice there's no blue in that area. So what we're seeing is a child who does not have gaps in their foundational reading skills. This does not mean they're the strongest reader in their class, but it does mean that they have strong foundational reading skills. If we go to the second part of this Home Connect report, we'll see suggestions for what we can do at home. So for example, one way that you can help support your child's need for comprehension might be to create a new story ending. This reads, have your child create a new ending for a story he or she has read. Help your child think about what would happen if the story continued. Ask your child to write 2 more paragraphs as a continuation to the story he or she just read. Have your child read the new ending aloud. Basically, all of these are going to include times for you to read aloud with your child or to your child. So that's always going to be a suggestion, but it's important that you take a look at this and see what you can do. Now, let's talk about the different color bands so that you have a better understanding of what those mean. If a student is in blue, this means that they're above benchmark expectations. If they're in green, they are at benchmark. A yellow score indicates that a student is below benchmark, and red indicates they're well below benchmark. So, what should you do when you get the information from your Home Connect? If your student is in green or blue, you can continue to do whatever you're practicing at home. Obviously, if you are not doing this already, I highly suggest reading at home with your child. While this does not mean that they're automatically going to learn how to read, reading with your child helps them with vocabulary, connection, and builds a love for reading. When we look at students who are in yellow or red, we're going to really encourage you to start using your Home Connect and using those activities they suggest. If you already have a tutor, please share your Home Connect with that tutor and consider contacting your teacher for more ideas or ways you can support at home. If your student is in yellow or red, you might be wondering what your student's teacher is doing to help. Well, red or yellow scores are just a flag for us, letting us know that your child needs more support in class, which I assure you your child is going to be getting, but also more support during Gator time if they're in grades 1 through 5. If your child has a yellow or red score, they have at some point or will be in a Gator time that's directly going to help with this. Now, some students also need support in math. Some students need support in other subject areas as well, maybe Spanish. So we make sure that we try to have a rotation to help make sure that they're getting all of their needs met. If you have any questions about what's happening, contact your teacher. Feel free to ask them how their scores have impacted that and what you can do at home as well. Some friendly reminders. Getting a red score is not a failure. It's really just an alert system. It's an alarm to let us as parents and teachers know that our student has some gaps in their foundational skills that we need to help. Our assessments do not help us judge students, but they do help us respond early and teach more effectively. I hope you'll keep that in mind when you read your Home Connects. And again, I hope everyone starts, if you are not already, reading to your child at home. I will say from my own personal experience, it really helps put them to sleep at night too. So for whatever reason that you're doing, I encourage you all to read. I encourage everyone to come with me with any questions you have about this assessment or reading instruction here at ASA. Thank you so much for listening and have a great day.